I think one of my most embarrassing moments at Stone Ridge happened the spring track season of my junior year. I was still very new to doing hurdles at that point, and in the spring season, the Stone Ridge track team goes to Walter Johnson to use their outdoor track, maybe once a week. And while Stone Ridge is on their track, in the middle field, the Walter Johnson boys lacrosse team plays. It was like our first day practicing at Walter Johnson, and I was just thinking, wow, like, I really want to impress these boys that I'm like super athletic and that like I can do like anything that they can do in the middle of the field. I tried to run really hard over a hurdle and go over it super gracefully because like, I'm obviously a track star. Instead of going over it, I completely just bash into it and I land like face first on the track. And once everyone heard that crash of like the metal hurdle on the track, they just looked at me and stared at me for a few seconds, like really judgmentally. And then they went back to like their lacrosse thing. It was really embarrassing for me because I hadn't crashed into a hurdle before, and then just doing that in front of everyone made me really embarrassed.
Well, you know how everyone goes through one of those funky smell hand sanitizer phases? Mine was freshman year, and I just bought a pumpkin spice chai tea latte hand sanitizer. I put some in my hand, put a little too much, and everyone in the room was like, "What's that smell? Why does it smell like fluoride?" And I put my hands under my thighs, and I'm like, okay, if I just stay like this for the rest of class, no one's gonna bother me. And Miss Cottle calls on me to go up to the board, and I was like, oh no. So I get up, and immediately the whole room starts yelling, "Oh my God, it's back!" And so I slowly turn around, and I say, "It's my pumpkin spice chai tea latte hand sanitizer." The room goes dead silent, and one of the girls asks, "Oh, wow, you're such a trooper." And I sit down without a word.
Okay, so there's this really amazing part in the movie Avatar, which I'm sure you'll all agree is the best sci-fi movie of our generation, where Jake makes a connection with one of those flying pterodactyl things. Here it is. This has a point, I promise. Like, the noodles come out of his hair, the noodles come out of the pterodactyl's bridle, they fuse, and it's beautiful.
So, Alenka thought that it would be a great idea to do that during class and try and convince everybody that simply because we sat in a certain part of the room, she tried to convince everybody that it was our blonde corner and that we had super, like, telepathic communication.
And that was how it manifested itself.
We had to connect our hair like that. And then we could transfer messages.
So we wouldn't talk during class, we'd just touch the ends of our hair together.
Yeah, we did it one day during class.
We did it all the time during class, he just got sick of it one day!
Dr. Hogan called us one day, and I guess he just wasn't feeling it that day. So he came and he took the tiger amulet and he slammed it on Alenka's desk and basically questioned us as to why we were touching the ends of our hair together, because...
And we explained it fully with the whole, like, noodle sequence.
And, like, we tried to convince him, but he wasn't buying it.
One day Julia got sick, and Dr. Hogan asked me where she was, and I looked him dead in the eye and I said she went home because she's blonde.
Which is a very rude thing
I meant to say sick.
No, you didn't.
I did!
You didn't.
Blonde too. Why would I want to slander our society? Like, why would this happen?
What society?
Shh. It's enough.
This is an embarrassing moment that happened to me during freshman year. It was the very first mass of the year, like that big all-school mass where they have like a theme for the rest of the year. Well, I was and still am a Protestant, and so I've never been to Catholic Mass before. Then I also wasn't open to it. So during the Mass, I decided that I would take a little break and go to the restroom and just kind of like mess around and play on my phone. Well, after a while, I realized like somebody probably is gonna notice that I'm gone. So I was like, fine, maybe I should go back in. So then I put my phone in my pocket and I stand up to open the little stall thing, and my phone falls out into the toilet. I mean, I grab it quickly, trying to like save it. Maybe like if it's in there less time, like somehow it'll be saved. No. I put it in my pocket. I go back into the Mass, and while I'm trying to focus and like somehow salvage the experience of the Mass, my phone is like burning a hole through my skirt. I'm just like, what's going on? Like, how can I focus and like find some connection with God while my phone is just burning a hole in my pocket? After that, we end mass, and so I go to my computer. I search up like, what can I do to help my phone? And so they're like, rice, put it in rice. I'm a Nigerian, so we eat rice like every day. When I get home, I'm expecting that there's gonna be rice. I get home and there's no rice. Like the one day I need rice, there's no rice. I have to explain to my mom what happened. I was trying to keep it a secret on the DL, like just trying to fix it before it became a problem. And then after a while, it's just like, this phone is shot. Like there's nothing I can do for it. My phone is dead. And I did this all during the first mass. So this is a lesson to you guys. Make sure you're paying attention to mass. And don't try to go to the bathroom and skip, because God is watching you. And instant karma, that stuff is real. Like, it really happened. And I was just shook. I was like, wow, like, he really just got me right there.
So one time, sophomore year, we were having a fire drill, and back then we did it out by the sunken garden. It was the middle of the winter though, so there was like ice and snow all over the place. And these little kids, like these little second graders, could not stand. They were just falling everywhere. I thought this was like the funniest thing ever. I was informed by a teacher that this wasn't very nice and that I should go help. And so I was like, you know what? Yeah, like I'm a sophomore now. Like I'll be helpful. I'll be super helpful. And so I like jogged over all confidently and I wiped out. Like I don't remember much because I blocked it out as a traumatic experience, because I remember like being surrounded by these like really intimidating upperclassmen and all these like second graders and teachers, and they were all just laughing at me. And I remember like my feet just kind of went up in the air and I like dolphin dove into this pile of snow, and I just spent the rest of the day in this like dripping wet ice cold kilt, and it was the worst thing ever, and I just like blocked it out forever. But here it is again.
Okay, so what happened was I was working on my paper for some class. I had grabbed my laptop and I went up to the second floor, and I had gone to the library to see if it had printed, because I mean, that's what you do. You just take your laptop to the library just in case it didn't print. And on my way back down the stairs, me being the klutz I am, I tripped over my own feet around the 5th stair. So instead of like trying to keep myself from falling, I had just accepted my fate. And as I was beginning to like tumble down the stairs, I was like cradling my laptop like my life depended on it, like this was the chosen one, like this laptop is my child. When I landed at the bottom of the stairs, everyone from the front office like ran out. So we're talking Mr. McCluskey, Miss Wendell, Miss Cafino, Miss Freeze, and they're all like trying to make sure I'm okay. And I just sat at the bottom of the stairs and I opened my laptop and I was just trying to type in my password to see if it was okay and if it was still working, because at that point, that was all that mattered to me.
So I don't cry that often. I try to avoid emotional things as much as possible. What I hate the most is when other people see me cry. So my most embarrassing Stone Ridge memory was probably when I cried for the entirety of a social action assembly. Like, I mean the whole thing. There was not a moment in time when I did not have a stream of tears just rushing down my face. I was even making those ugly crying wheezing sounds. After assembly, my mom made me leave, and I found out that I had mono. But honestly, I probably cried more that day than I have in my entire life.
So freshman year in Ms. Amdulis' Intro to Lit class, we were translating Shakespearean love sonnets into modern day language, and there was one line that we did, and it was, "Your beauty is immortal." And instead, when I read it out loud, I said, "Your booty is immortal." And I had spent like the past 7 months like crafting this perfect image of myself as like respectable, diligent, intense academic student, and it all just was like blown to smithereens because I said booty instead of beauty, and then I did it again, and then I did it again, and that's it. And now I've been forever changed.